The Song of the Silent String. In a house where the grandfather clock ticked louder than any voice, lived a girl named Ruth. She was a person of soft smiles and gentle hands, moving through the world like a summer breeze. While the neighborhood children shouted and raced, Ruth preferred the quiet rhythm of the morning sun as it moved across her wooden floors. Ruth had many thoughts, beautiful and bright as wildflowers. But whenever she tried to speak them, the words felt like heavy stones in her throat. She was modest and shy, often choosing to let her eyes do the talking. She worried that her quietness made her invisible to the loud world outside. One rainy afternoon, Ruth found her way into the dusty attic. Tucked away in a corner, hidden behind a stack of old quilts, was a worn leather case. Inside lay a violin, its wood glowing with the warmth of polished honey. When Ruth touched the strings, they hummed a low, secret note just for her. Ruth decided to seek help from Mr. Finch, an elderly neighbor who was known for his love of music. He lived in a house filled with the scent of pine and old sheet music. When Ruth showed him the violin, she didn't say a word, but her hopeful expression told him everything he needed to know. Mr. Finch was a patient teacher. He didn't ask Ruth to speak, he only asked her to listen. He showed her how to hold the bow, moving his hands through the air to demonstrate the grace of a swan. He treated the music with the same modesty and respect that Ruth felt for the world. Ruth practiced every day by her bedroom window. At first, the violin gave only tiny, frightened squeaks, but Ruth was diligent and gentle. She didn't force the music. She invited it out, treating the instrument like a shy friend who needed time to find its courage. As the weeks passed, the squeaks turned into a shimmering melody. When Ruth played, she felt a strange and wonderful magic. She realized that the violin was saying all the things her voice could not. The music was her laughter, her dreams, and her quiet strength, flowing out into the air. One evening, Mr. Finch arrived with a small printed card. It was an invitation to the town's spring concert. "The world needs to hear your song, Ruth," he said softly. Ruth felt a shiver of nerves, but when she looked at her violin, she knew she was ready to share her voice. The night of the concert arrived, and the stage was bathed in a golden light. Ruth stood in the center, looking small and modest against the velvet curtains. A hush fell over the large audience. Taking a deep breath, she tucked the violin under her chin and let the first notes soar. The music was not loud, but it was so clear and beautiful that it reached every corner of the hall. When she finished, there was a moment of perfect silence before the applause began. Ruth smiled, realizing she didn't need to shout to be heard. Her modesty was her power, and her music was her truth.